Hello and welcome to the Course in Daily Intentions. I'm Dr. Danita, here to guide you along with a community of like-minded people who are all experimenting with co-creating in relationship with creative source energy. With me is Fabienne Gassman, a fellow community member who has been doing the Course in Daily Intentions since it began. We're very fortunate in that she has agreed to share her stories as well as her daily images from her own personal daily intention journal, which you can see by going to the visual that's accompanying this broadcast. And she truly puts in an incredible amount of effort and energy into her daily images, and they really are an inspiration for us and can give us lots of ideas about how to do our own work. We're also going to be talking with her about her new workbook for daily intentions called The Days of My Life, which was inspired by the Daily Intentions Journal, which accompanies this course. The intention of this session is to learn from Fabienne how she was inspired to do her daily intention work and how through her own work she inspired others. And this is a really important lesson for all of us because we're all leaders by example. By doing our own work, we immediately lift others, and it is important to remember this dimension of the work that we're doing. With that, hello, Fabienne, and welcome. Hello. Fabienne, I know that you've reached many people with your book. So if you could start by telling us about how you were inspired to create your book and the kinds of people and groups that you're working with now with your book.
Okay, well, 2 years ago I was in trouble and I needed assistance. At this point I was given some homework, like reading books that was recommended to me about healing and inspiration, and to start writing on a daily basis about my feelings. So with that writing and your books of your workbook, that's how my journal came to light. And people come to me after they have seen my journal and told me I inspired them. So my journal has inspired many people in my community. Example, a woman gave her journal to a nephew who had troubles. A grandmother gave my journal to her grandson for inspiration. I've been involved in organizations like mental health. Have done it for Girl Guides, friends giving my journal to friends, and at my workplace.
That's a lot of people that you've inspired. I'm curious, Fabienne, when you work with children, like with Girl Guides with your journal, how do the children respond to doing daily intentions and to your workbook?
They actually work very well. They respond very well. We're doing it every week for 15 minutes, and at this point it's totally confidential, because we will do that all in a group later on when it's done, and everybody can have the experience what everybody was feeling and all that. So at this point, but they do respond, and they're doing their works with different kinds of image pages and whatever they feel to write at that day.
Yeah, it's amazing when you actually think about that you're taking this work to like the next generation who will get a chance to do this work when they're children. Most of us had to wait till we were grown-ups to even know that this kind of work existed. Do you have any special stories that stand out in your mind about people that are inspired by your work?
Yeah, I do.
So can you share them with us?
Well, okay, I will read it out. Recently, on something is stuck in my mind. At my workplace, somebody asked me for some help, and she heard about my workbook and would like to see it. So we did get together, and I let her see it. And at this point, when she saw my journal, she opened up to me. And when she talked to me, she still had so much anger and so much pain in her. Even she was dealing with it for so many years. She's still stuck in her own cycle, even now. So when I heard all her story, and she actually has seen all my journal and my workbook, her eyes, she was so amazed by it, and her eyes just grew up. And I knew what I had to do. So I gave her one of my workbook free of charge. And I know she's working on it, even though she has a hard time, and she does try to ask for some help because sometimes she's just stuck in it. And the funny thing is, we know each other for a long time, but we have never talked about our past until now. So it's like your journal was a doorway that gave both of you a connection to be able to connect and talk about your lives together. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is incredible. You know, did you have any idea that you would be reaching people like this when you began writing your own intentions?
No.
No?
No.
Yeah, it's a good feeling, isn't it?
My purpose was just first, it was just about me.
Yeah.
And I showed it to one person, and it goes around very fast at my workplace.
Yeah. Well, it's obviously needed by people.
Yeah, it's needed in the community, yes.
Yeah. So have you noticed any difference for you, like just having the positive response from other people about the book? Has it made any impact on you and your life?
Yes, it has. Stories I hear, they are no different as basically my stories, and I basically dealing in the same way like everybody else deals with it. And my journal and their journal, I mean, we can all work together, and help each other. And it does help me to overcome my challenges.
Yeah, and it's amazing how helping others and inspiring others also inspires us. It just keeps taking us to new levels. Just before we end, Fabienne, I also want to just have a look at the actual artwork that you do every day, the daily images, along with your words. You put an incredible amount of energy into those beautiful images that you create. Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about how you create them, like how you make these images, what kind of pictures you use?
Well, these images are all according to some of my writing of my journal, and the inspiration just comes, I have to look them up. I do them through computer and paste them and cut them out in like collages. I look for the words what can fit a little bit with my stories. Sometimes I draw, even my drawings are not the best, but whatever comes at that point when I write the story, what comes into my head and that comes in my fingers and through my fingers, that's what goes on my paper for my image pages. So, that's how I can explain it.
Yeah. And do you show your images to other people?
Yes, that's how, yes. I show my journal. There is actually a lady I work, and I call her Granny Annie, because she inspires me so much with her stories, because she's 100 years old. She has so many stories, but she can tell them so good, she can't write them down. And now, I would say about the last 6 months, she has a journal herself, but I'm the one who, if I can, every day of something of my things, what inspired me of my journal, I write every morning something into her journal, and that just lifts up her day.
Oh, so she tells you the story and you write it in for her?
Well, she tells her own stories, and I tell my stories, and out of my stories, I write it into her journal. So, and every morning I actually surprise her. She comes in the shower or whatever else, and when I have a few minutes, I write it, and then later she will see it, and it just makes her day.
Isn't that's an incredibly creative way to use the journal?
Because she can talk about it, her past and everything else, but she cannot write it down. And though I can write it down and I can see it, so therefore I write it basically for her, but about my, and her experience and my experience. So
yeah. So the journal becomes a way of communicating between both of you.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a really creative way to work with that journal.
And there are people inspiring me and I write about it. Yes, and make the image page and I show it to them, and sometimes they want a copy of it, so because I inspired them so much. But it's not just I inspired them, they inspired me too, regardless how old they are.
Yes, it really is a circle of inspiration, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I want to thank you for joining us today and inspiring us and being so generous with sharing your story about the ways that this work has transformed your life. And also, I really want to thank you for sharing the daily image pages that you've given us to take a look at, because your pictures really are truly inspirational. And I'm sure they're going to give all of us ideas about how we can approach this page in our own work. So I really want to thank you for that, Fabienne. And thank you for being with us. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, too.
Yes, you can.
Okay, I would like to thank you, too, for motivating me and inspiring me every day with your own books and in teleseminar. Without your inspiration and help, I would not be here today and doing this work with you. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. And thank everybody out there who's listening at this moment all over the world at different times and in different spaces. And remember, now it's your turn. Fabienne was very generous to share with the community her experience and her beautiful images in an effort to inspire us and give us ideas about how to continue our own work. And so please, if you want to share your stories about your work with Daily Intentions, or how you're inspiring other people, or how your work is inspiring other people, or if you want more information about Fabienne's workbook, please write to info@mentoringstore.ca. Thank you for joining us today as we remember how we can inspire others by our example. May you continually be aware that as you do your daily intention work, you lift others simply by your actions. Until we meet again, enjoy.